how was that? Is that sort of a surreal invite, or how did that even come about?
Yeah, I got invited to that, and I'm not sure whether somebody had nominated me. I never actually found out where the kind of invitation really kind of came from, so to speak. But yeah, so I almost nearly missed the original invite because it had gone into my junk folder
Wow.
on my email, and they actually followed up, thankfully, and that one for some reason hadn't gone in my junk folder, so that was lucky. So I nearly didn't do it. But yeah, that was surreal. I mean, it was kind of, it's one of those sort of, bucket list items that you
Yeah.
kind of want to do, and having been invited and done it is wonderful. So it was great. One of the best things about the TED experience was that you're there and there's a sort of theme of the event. In this case, was about, I can't even remember what the theme was, but it was people from lots of different disciplines, not, definitely not all academics as well. But it was almost, you felt a bit like a family, that you all had this commonality of this thing you were interested in, and everybody obviously was talking about lots of different things. So it was nice just to kind of feel part of a different kind of family of people who you wouldn't normally ordinarily end up with.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
Yeah, I can imagine it was such a surreal experience.
Yeah.
And how is that to process? Was it weird? Was there anything that, like, people get these big opportunities and sometimes they feel things like imposter syndrome and stuff like that? Did that ever like creep into your mind or anything?
Probably not on that one, because when you're invited to something like that, you kind of do feel a bit like, oh, I'm a VIP.
Yeah.
So maybe not in that particular case, but I mean, I think imposter syndrome is something that a lot of people do experience, and not yeah, it's interesting in that case. Actually, reflecting back, I don't think I did really feel like an imposter, which is kind of interesting. And I don't know if it's because there was so much support actually for at the event. They did a lot of kind of coaching with you before. They kind of do. They kind of catch up with you before and help you know how to pitch it to start with. What's the opening line, because those first opening lines are really important. Then what's the kind of main message? What's the point that you're trying to make? So don't make a whole load of points, like what's the take home thing, and then how do you kind of end it? And that was really useful. So I think it was because it was such a supportive experience, it didn't really feel too scary.
Yeah, and that's an insight that you would never get, because when I'm a bit of a geek as well, so like I'll go and watch these things, and you imagine once you're on that big red circle, you sort of pull up, you're there, and then you're on. So it is interesting to obviously know that there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I jumped forward there a little bit, just
fine,
because it was a good segue when
No,
you
no,
talked
no,
about public
it's
speaking.
relevant.
So
Yeah.
what, if you can remember back, when you was picking your degree and sort of your interest, why psychology, if you don't mind me asking?
No, not at all. I think picking it for a degree was because it's the subject I enjoyed most at A level. It's the one that I just found most intriguing, and I think for me it was really a nice subject because it kind of brought parts of my identity together, which sounds really corny, but so it was the science. The psychology is very much a science, even though some people say it's not, but it is. So it's the science, and I love science. I always really enjoyed science at school. But also it's the kind of the people aspect and the communication. And there's not really ever been a subject area I've done before that's kind of brought those two things together. So I think doing it at A level started to help me realise I really enjoyed that. And that's what I've just found I've just enjoyed more and more in my career in psychology, is being able to do things like this, or do sort of science communication more generally, public engagement events, kind of creative dissemination things. It's really lovely because that kind of helps me do my kind of creative communication thing, but still be doing the science at the heart of it. So I think it just brings those things together, and that's really nice to do that's where the kind of reward from the job comes, from doing things I just inherently enjoy doing.
It just naturally became a passion.